I recommend you rent from a fast.
Hey. Out of it. You. Hey y'all. So you can probably tell it's wet. It's been raining. I think it's getting ready to start raining again. And I'm out in the middle of the woods. What the heck am I doing? Well, I'm going to get a fire going with it when everything's soaking sopping wet. I'm not going to cheat by using my wax cotton balls. They're always carry in my coat pockets. Or by using, some, very cheap and tinder methods. Now, ideally, you should carry one of these. You should have some kind of tinder with you. But if you happen to not, you happen to be out and doing whatever, and then all of a sudden, and it starts raining, or you've been out doing something and you get lost. But by the time you get lost, it's raining and you ain't thought to grab tinder, which is why you should grab tinder in the first place. But if you didn't, well, you're stuck in this kind of situation. Now, right here, it's the perfect combination for hypothermia. Well, maybe not perfect. It could be a little colder, although it is a little chilly. I'd say it's maybe in the 50s, 60s maybe? Low 50s. I doubt it's the 40s. But the wind chill factor is about 40 something. Now, let me give you the rundown of the current weather we got right now. It's windy. It's cold. It's wet. And it's about to start raining. That is one of the best combinations you can get for hypothermia. Now, how do you defeat hypothermia? Stay warm. Stay out the weather. I look all around me and I see 1,000 different places I could sit that would help keep me out the rain. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about getting a fire going when everything's soaking sopping wet. Alright. So, what you gotta look for is you gotta look for dead, dry wood. Obviously. But it's not exactly dry, it's mostly wet. But there's a little trick. When you split that wood open, that center is still dry. It's just that couple millimeters or inch or so, depending on how long it's been wet, that's still wet. But that inside core, that's still dry. And that's what you want. As far as tinders go, well, that's a little more difficult, but it can be done. Alright, so I'm going to start scavenging around the woods. I'm going to take only natural materials. Now, I'm going to use my ferro rod and maybe my lighter and get a fire going. Now, it'd be better if I used the ferro rod because that would simulate how much harder okay, I just lost the word I was going to say. But you get what I'm saying. So when things are halfway dry, you can use birch bark, the shredding bark, paper bark birch. This stuff. But the problem is, if it's really wet and you can see wet on it, it really won't burn. I've had plenty of experience with that. It doesn't burn that well at all. It might burn in some places, but you're going to struggle. I know I did. You gotta dry some of that stuff out. Now, here's your tip. Here's a quick tip. The moment you realize you're lost, or you need to get a fire going, first thing you should grab is tinder. First thing. Whether it be birch bark, cedar, or whatever. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of that birch bark and I'm going to put it in my coat pocket that's close to my body. Why? So that way my body heat will help to dry it out. Because you're really going to need it. Alright, so once again, I'm going to go ahead and do that and start chopping around these wet, soaking, sopping woods and see what I can do. Okay, y'all. Look at this tree. Alright. Look how wet this side is. Okay, you see how it's leaning like it is? It's got a lean to it. Alright, now look at the bottom side versus this side. You can literally see the two different color differences. Alright, so on this bottom side, I've already been taking some stuff off because it's dry. You want to take this stuff religiously. This stuff is going to help you tremendously. Take it. And once again, put it in your pocket. That way, any moisture that is in it will dry. Or at least dry some. I mean, you want it to dry as much as possible. You want it to be as dry as possible. Alright. Now, y'all know how the creek has been for the past couple days. In the past while that I've been doing these videos. You can see all kinds of sandbanks in it. Now you can't. So the water level is starting to rise. Okay. Yeah, you got all these different trees that are sticking straight up. They're sticking straight up. And these are just going to be wet all around. You don't want that. If it's the only thing you can find, go ahead and put it in your pocket. It's going to help. But this looks nice from where I'm standing. Let's see. No, never mind. That's dripping. I can't reach that stuff up there. Alright. I'm going to turn the camera off to conserve the battery because I forgot to charge it the other night. So, I'll talk to you all in a little bit. And I'm going to keep looking for some good tinder because tinder is going to be what really gets us going. So, see y'all then. Okay. So trees like this one are absolute godsends. It's got that lean to it, but it's also protected overhead. So you get these really, really dry sections, which is just gorgeous. Oh, I can feel the warmth already. It's just like, you know, peeling off in the morning. Because it is a little damp. And there's a lot of moisture in the air, so it's so much better than what's on the flip side. And I am still continuously putting these in my pocket. And yeah. See, where I live, these river birches are everywhere. You can't go nowhere around here and not find these river birches. You can find them somewhere. And the particular zone I live at is a bottomland, so it's pretty moist all the time. Let's go explain why I'm just used to doing stuff where everything's damp. Because I've gone to other people's places, did the same thing, and I do it in no time, and even I'm surprised. But then again, everything's drier over there. You know, around here, you can see birch, river birch, river birch, river birch, river birch, river birch. Another one. Look, there's another one. Hey, look, more. They're all around me. Oh, and these right here, these are polypores. it's a little fuzzy, but you can see how it's got just tons and tons and tons of little pores. You can't really eat them. They're really tough, but they're not poisonous either. That is a mushroom that I do know. And there's a myth that if a mushroom grows on a tree, it's edible. No. You shouldn't trust mushroom guidelines anyway. Because, really, there is a mushroom that grows on a tree, and it will kill you. This is called the jack-o'-lantern. It will stop your clock, like they say. It'll put a kink in your gears. Sorry, I love weather like this. It puts me in an interesting mood. And there is one, if I can ever find it, I'll show it to you. It's called the oyster mushroom. There's no poisonous lookalikes, and it smells like butter. Believe it or not, it smells like butter. Alright, anyway, you can never have too much tinder. Now, really, getting a fire going is not a dire need at the moment, because walking around is keeping me warm, and it hasn't really been raining, so I'm staying dry. I got my waterproof boots on, so I'm good on that said area too. Alright. Now, also, I know birches and river birches aren't exactly everywhere. I don't know the exact regions they're in, but I'm thinking maybe further north they start to dissipate, or is it further south? Actually, I'm really not sure. I just know they're here. But you can do any other kind of tree or tinder. Everything from dry grass that's under a fallen tree or a lean over tree to pine pitch, which is actually what I'm heading up here to look for now, because I know pines grow virtually everywhere. Cedar bark. I mean, like I said, imagination's the limit. Improvise, adapt, overcome. And you could also take lint from your socks, or if you happen to have some in your belly button. Every little bit helps. But a little trick. You see this little pine tree right here? Take the stick, these dead little twigs near the base, get real close to the base and try and break it off. If you're lucky, that base right there is going to be all fatwood or resin wood. Oh yeah, that's rich. And that's going to help you a lot. You can just cut that little knob off because it's only like that much of fatwood. And use that. You can split it up. Heck, you can take resin, resin impregnated wood, or aka fatwood, and split it up, crush it up, turn it into like a powder, and bam, there's a tinder. That I've gotten to take a spark before. But yeah. And I'm looking for resin globs. I'm not looking for fatwood itself, unless I can find a stump of it. But I'm looking for resin globs, so I'll turn the camera off and carry on. Hey y'all, let me just say, I hit the jackpot in fatwood. I saw this stump right here sticking in the ground, just sitting up, and I kicked it and it wobbled. I pushed it down and it sunk. I pulled it up and all this came out. Now, keep in mind, only this much right here was sitting up. Now, and the fact that this whole root was still intact gave me an idea. The fact that resin pretty much preserves the wood, let me think, okay, this is liable to be fatwood. And yeah, I take out my tomahawk and I chop a chunk off. There you go. And here it is. And it's nice and red inside. And it smells like resin. So I made a great find for this. And I'm going to chop me a bunch of chunks off. This is going to be great for getting a forest started in very wet conditions. And another thing, it's bone dry in here. Well, okay, maybe not bone dry because it's resin wood, but you know what I'm saying. This stuff is like God's scent, a true God's scent. Above all things, if you need to get a fire going out here. And I'm just cutting it into little thin strips like this, kindling size strips for me to use. Man, I got lucky. Alright, so y'all watch me do that. I'm gonna take this to my base, turn the camera off, and I'm gonna get to find some other stuff I'm gonna need. This is awesome. I'm very happy about this. And look at that. That's the hole that it was in. But yeah. So I'm gonna carry this to my camp over here, or my shelter is, my permanent area. And I'm gonna put that in there. I mean, it's kind of cheating, but not necessarily, because you could put it under a log, or you could carry it with you wherever you go. Yada 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 yada. All right, so I'm gonna take that one over there, and I'm gonna find some dry, well, down wood to use to try and create kindling so I can make my fire with. All right. If you don't got no water with you, you're in luck, especially if it rains, because you'll get little puddles like this of water and all the leaves, which is great. And it's safe because it's just fresh rainwater. If it wasn't fresh, it would have evaporated off. Okay, y'all, I've really got everything I need over here now. I've got this old down tulip poplar. That's the reason all the bark is gone. I stripped it because it's it's a tulip poplar. I've got this old hickory that I drug over here. And, you know, I've got all kinds of just dead down wood. Alright, so first off, what you're going to do is you're going to chop this into different sections, you know, like little sections, about a foot long, by another foot, whatever. And then you're going to split it into little pieces. Alright, so I'm going to start doing that. And I'll start you back up when, you know, I'm ready to start filming. Alright, y'all. So, to make dry wood
out of wet wood, you split it into thousands of little pieces. Now, first, you're just going to split it down the middle. Okay, once you get that piece, the inside is extremely dry. One way you can tell, put it to your lip. You can always immediately tell if it's dry or not. I'm going to split it again. You can split it as many times as you like. Because, of course, remember, the thinner it is, the easier it'll be to light. Now, once you have trouble splitting it, you can always do what I just did. But just take the knife and just push it in, and then split it like that. And save all the tiny little chips that end up breaking off. Those can be thrown in to add as little bits too. And you just split it. Oops. I'm gonna do it the other way. Got like that. Now you get all these little pieces like that, and those will go up pretty easily because they're so dry. And if you want to, you can feather stick them. Which is basically just pushing your knife in at little spots all down the stick, so that you create this. Now, you just do this for a while. Keep doing it. You'll eventually end up with a very good amount of kindling. Just keep splitting. Oops. Dang it. Little sucker. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you off because you know what I'm doing now. And I'll catch y'all up when I finish this. Okay? Alright. Okay, y'all. So, one thing you want to do when everything's wet is you want to create a small platform. Okay? That platform is going to help keep your stuff, your tinder, kindling, fuel, all that up off the ground. There's all that dry birch bark I collected. That is very dry now, just like it would if it was fresh. And I could light this up in no time with my fire steel, but I'm not. I'm going to try and do it with fatwood. First off, I want that wind to die down a little bit. Or rather, I want that wind to not be quite as intense. Now, with fatwood, I'm just going to try and get the thinnest little sliver of it. Oh yeah, these are perfect. just like with any tinder, you're going to want maximum surface area. All I'm doing is shaving tiny little bits and rolls of it off. Really thin, really easy to ignite. I'm willing to bet if I get one good spark on one of these, they'll start going. Alright, that should be fine right there. Alright, let's get my fire steel out. Get the saw out. Found my fire steel knife, there we go. There it goes. I'll take some of this fatwood, start putting it on there. Some of this thicker birch bark. These really small pieces of fatwood are going to be great. So look how that thing's burnt on its own. It's starting to suffocate a little bit here. Take your time with it. You don't want it to suffocate. I'm taking just these tiny little bits of fatwood and putting them on there. I'm going to take one of these and put it in the ground, over it. And I'm going to start creating a small little teepee over it. The fatwood's doing marvelous. Take the thinnest little pieces of these chops you can find and put them on there first. See how it's putting off that blackish smoke? That's that fatwood burning. Actually, I'm not going to use that piece. I'm going to use a couple of these more thin pieces. Feed it slowly. I'm gonna throw on a little chunk of this fatwood over here and ow, there. That's hot. Alright. Now that, my friends, is fire when everything is just soaking wet. This is a great way to go out and just practice and see just how good your skills are. Try doing it while it's raining. That concludes. And I didn't even have to use all my fatwood. And that just proves, as long as you know what you're doing, you will be fine. You'll be able to make it through the night. And once this gets really going, you can put wetter wood on there. But that's going pretty fine. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all